Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Friday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi, and I help folks create a second income using social media. If that interests you, go to sidekicksean.com and let's connect. All right. That was pretty decent. That was a good intro, right? That's a good intro. So, tonight, tonight, I debated if I should talk about this topic tonight or not, but I could not resist. So, I kept getting nudged to speak about it. So, I'm going to speak about it because I think it's such an important point. And if you're joining me live, let me know you're here. Type in your name, say, hey, come on now, throw a heart, something. Let me know you're here. I'd like to know who's here, who's not here. Anyway, um, when you're in a world where credibility is not really it's not really everybody's forte. I think it's important to kind of be conscious of how you go about building your credibility, not only in the marketplace, but also as an individual, as a person, right? And, I'm in a profession where it's not exactly favored by a lot, right? And it's only because, and I truly believe this, it's only because it's lack of education. Most people reject what they don't know. Why? Because they don't want to spend the time, energy, or even cash to learn, right? Jenny, what's going on? So this one, as you go and you build your brand, you build your personal brand, you build your commercial brand, and you go about in the marketplace, you ought to be very conscious of how you build your credibility. I'm telling you. A mentor of mine one time said, the life you live before network marketing can make you or break you. The life you lived before network marketing, before you got into the profession, it can either make you or break you, which means, listen, you can have really crappy credibility in the marketplace. And so when you reach out to somebody, they're like, dude, listen, stop, right? Or you can be highly credible in the marketplace, where when you reach out to people about your opportunity or products, they're all over it, not because they're all, oh my God, this is the most amazing product in the world. No, because of you, because you have that credibility in the marketplace, right? MVPs, yes. Yes, morals. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I felt like it was probably about a good time to update my photo. Personally, I'm gonna be very transparent. Told this to a couple of friends. Maybe I should share it on live too. I'm not a big fan of that picture because I've lost a lot of weight, and for me it shows. But thank you. I appreciate all the love and no filters. That's me. So thank you very much, very much. So reputation and credibility are so important. Now, let me share a couple of thoughts with you, right? And this is like piece by piece. You could have credibility built up to here, right? You can have your reputation up to here, just flawless, everything just perfect, and then one wrong move, one wrong thing, there goes everything, right? You can take a lifetime to build a reputation and credibility, but it takes a second to ruin it, right? So let me give you a couple of thoughts. And I really debated if I wanted to talk about this or not because, some people may watch this and this may head home. I I I I pray that this will hit you. This will find you in a constructive way. Nothing else way. So Buddha said, Buddha said that if it weren't for Christians, he would be a Christian. Think about that for a second. Okay. So it's not that he rejected Christ. It's not that he rejected the Lord. It's not that he rejected the Bible. It's that he rejected the Christians. The Christians were the ones responsible for him not becoming a Christian. It wasn't Christ, right? Sumir namaste, namaste. So it wasn't Christ, right? So he said Christians were the reasons why I wasn't Christian. Now, I've talked about this on a live before, where I strongly believe that people don't become network marketers because network marketers turn them off. It's not the profession that turns people off. It's the people in the profession that people turn them off. I'll give you an example. Back in '93, some of you may know this, I had a major surgery. I had 5 inches of my intestine removed. I was pre-med. I was dissecting cadavers for 3 years. My whole goal, my whole thing was to become a heart surgeon. And I went to the hospital. I had a major surgery. I had a huge bad encounter with a doctor. And overnight, I changed my major. And I said, I do not want to be in this profession. Why? It wasn't because of the profession. It was because of that guy. Now, hold that thought for a second. And let me come to you to this. You rarely, if you're my friend, if you know me in a personal life, because this doesn't happen a lot on camera, but if you know me as a person, like as a personal friend, you would know that I rarely make a promise. I am very careful when I use the actual word I promise or the words I promise, right? I don't just say, oh, I promise. I don't just throw it out. And my philosophy on that is that there's a big, huge problem that comes along with the promise. And that is you got to keep it. That's the whole idea behind a promise. You don't just throw that out and not keep it. It wouldn't be a promise, right? So now, imagine if you're in a profession that already people are just like flaky and doubtful and all that stuff, right? And imagine also that, let's just kind of throw it in. Let's just say you're, I don't want to call, let's say you are a person of faith. Okay, let's say you may be a Christian, you may be Jewish, you may be Muslim, but you are a person of faith. Okay. Now, yeah, she knew she could. Yeah, absolutely. I rarely I rarely make a promise. And if I say promise, like ears go like this, because they're like, what? He said promise? Yeah, I rarely make a promise because I just don't know if I can keep them, right? But if I do, I'm gonna do my darnest. That's for sure. So so imagine this. Imagine if you're in a profession and let's say you're a person of faith. Imagine if you, now, again, let me share a thought with you. I am a business person, right? I'm a businessman. That's kind of my background. So we're going to talk business, right? And even a personal relationship is considered a business in a way because there's a relationship, right? Now, in a business relationship, though, let's say that I promise to do a certain thing by a certain date. Let's say, for example, I promise that I don't know, buy this product from you on a certain date, on Friday, let's say. Let's just make it Friday, right? And and I also, in a way, not only I promise, I only, like, on top of that, I give you my word. Like I said, you have my word. I give you my word to do this, right? And so you take that, and then Friday comes, and you have a change of mind, right? Not because of anything else. You just say, "Oh, I just don't want to do it," right? I changed my mind. I want to do this. I want to do that. All right. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. And this may I tell you this. Some of you are not gonna like this life because it's gonna hit you so hard, right? And if it hits you hard, it's only because you need to work in that area. So I hope you take this very constructively, right? So let's say, for example, now personally, this is me personally, okay? This is also in a relationship. I'm the same way. If a girl promised me something, if they make a promise towards something and it doesn't happen, this is how I would do things, right? And this is my reaction. Now let me ask you a question. You're in the profession. You're a person of faith. You give somebody your word, and then that day comes, and then you don't deliver. Hold for a second. You gave somebody your word. You're a person of faith. You're in this profession, and then that day comes, and you don't deliver. How would I, or how should I take that? Should I be a person say, well, you know, that's okay. I'm sure they'll give me their word again someday, so I can count on that. Should I be that person? Or should I say, you know what? It's just a misunderstanding. The word didn't mean anything, so they're going to make another promise. Totally okay with that. Should I be that person? Or should I be a person where it says, well, I'll tell you what, you get back to me when you want to, but as far as your credibility is concerned, you don't have much anymore. For me personally, if you're in a relationship with me, if you're in a business with me, if you want to be in a relationship with me, if you want to be in business with me, if you want to be my friend, I should be able to count on what you tell me. If I can't count on what you tell me, that relationship is no longer the relationship it started. Not for me. I don't just take another, I'm like, oh, okay. Now, here's another thing. Somebody can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get back to you on Friday. I'll let you know what happens. Friday comes, they're like, you know what? I can't do it. Respect. Respect. Somebody says, you know what? You have my word. I promise. It's like this: till death do us apart. or until I find somebody better. Insert. Here's what I got to share with you. Doesn't matter what profession you're in. It doesn't matter what faith you have. If you have faith, it makes it worse. If you're in this kind of a profession, it makes it worse. Okay? If you're not, okay? But if you're in this profession, especially if you're a person of faith, what I would recommend is you want to represent. You want to represent your faith. You want to represent your profession. You want to represent, say, people make a brand, right? They have their brand. Like they're known as this juice lady, or they're known as the, collagen lady, or they're known as the whatever, right? That's a crappy brand if you're a crappy person. The brand starts with you, your MVPs, your morals, your values, your principles, right? So if you're a person of faith and you're a person of this profession, you better represent it up. This is not where you make a promise and you don't show up. That's not good in anywhere. Imagine if you made a reservation at a restaurant and you didn't show. And then you call tomorrow and you say you want to make another reservation. Would they be like, what happened to the one last night? You didn't even call. Nowadays, if you don't call 24 hours in advance to your appointment, they charge you $20. Why? Why do they do that? Why do they do that? Why does a doctor charge you $20 if you don't call to reschedule or cancel the appointment? Why do they do that? You can complain about it. Well, you can call in 24 hours out in advance and just make a cancellation. Why do they do that? Because it's freaking important when you make a promise. That's why they do that. Because if they don't do that, people break their promises freaking left and right. Because they don't value their own words. Value your words. Don't be cheap with the value of your words. Don't be throwing stuff around when you can't handle the weight. And then say, why doesn't anybody watch my video? Why nobody joins my business? Why would they? I wouldn't. I wouldn't in a million years. Even if I wanted to join that company, I would go through somebody else and join somebody else. Why? Because you have zero credibility with me. I don't know when you're going to be there, not there. Well, you said you're going to be there, and you said you're going to be there, and you're not there. And imagine if you don't even say anything. Buddha didn't become a Christian because Christians ruined Christianity for him. It wasn't that Jesus came down and talked to Buddha and said, and Buddha said, you know what, you suck, Jesus. I'm not going to become a Christian. It wasn't like that. It was a bunch of Christians around him that sucked. They didn't deliver. They didn't represent. They're like, this is Christianity? I don't want to be that. This is network marketing? I don't want to be that. You have no value when you break your own promise. It's not my promise. I didn't make the promise. You made it. I didn't do anything. right? So if you're that person, I'm asking you to really, I mean, really reconsider, right? Because it's not serving anybody. No one is getting value by you breaking your word. Now, if you don't throw your word out, nobody would know if you broke it or not. But man, this ticks me off when when we have people that really claim to be professionals and this and that, and then you break the basics. You break the basics. You know, again, this, I know I'm heated, but this is totally constructive because I want you to take this and really just let this thing marinate. Okay. Because personally, like I said, personally, that's not a business person for me. I would never do business with that person. Now, they can do business with me. I would never go to that team or that company or that person's team. I mean, right? Just there's no credibility for me anymore, right? And I know it may be harsh. It's only once, but how many times should it take? Should it be 118 times? Doesn't make any sense. We're professionals. We're business people, or are we not? Let me ask you a question. You throw your word out there. Let's say you're a Christian. You're not even in the business, and then you break your word. Is that pretty decent with Christ? Like Christ would say, "Yay, good job, good job for giving your word and breaking it." That's like you should give a seminar on that. Mm, I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert with the Bible, but I'm pretty sure that's not in Scripture. When did Jesus break his promise? Go ahead. I'll wait. Hmm. Never. I see. Be professionals. Have value for your words. They have weight. They make a difference. You're supposed to make a difference in people's lives, aren't you? I think so. I want you to be very conscious of how you leave a trail of credibility. Everything you do, everything you say is a small brick. And I'm telling you, you can take a lifetime to build this thing. How many people you see on TV? They've been an anchor for 118 years, and then they say one wrong thing on TV and their career is over. Over. Just saying. You can't take this stuff lightly. I'm telling you, you cannot take this stuff lightly. You've got to be very conscious of this stuff. And yeah, I think I beat the dead horse to death. But so important that you keep this idea in just fresh in your right here. Okay. You don't want people to break their words with you. You get pissed off. You wouldn't do business with them. You would call them 118 different names behind their back. I can't believe it. Represent. Represent. Show up professional. as a professional. And that's how you're going to get. If you're a horrible customer yourself, guess what kind of a customer trail you're going to get. Lovely clients that they just like, oh. If you're a pain in the butt yourself, that's what you're going to get. Trust me. Go ahead and check your downline, evaluate. Let's see at what point you change your mind to be nice. Oh, these customers are suddenly nice. Be professionals all around. Your brand is not just your product. It's you. It's how you show up, what you do, what you say, what you stick by. Those are important. Your MVPs, your morals, values, principles. I'm telling you, you got to be particular when you pick them, and they cannot be shaken. I'm telling you, this is what it's going to take. You don't do these and then work your way to the top. It just doesn't work like that. So hopefully you guys got some love, a decent hour, and I'm awake, fired up kind of. And hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. That's awesome. If you feel like this was worthy of sharing, do what you got to do. Spread the love. Maybe this one is a little too heated. Maybe you're like, on the next one. But yeah, decent hour. First, oh, is it 11? Oh my God, I didn't know it was 11 here. It's 2 o'clock over there. Not a decent hour. Maybe decent hour in Europe. Anyway, with that, I am Sean Azimi, and I help folks create a side income using social media. If that interests you, sidegeeksean.com. Let's connect. With that, I am signing off. Until tomorrow, when we do it all over again. Much love.